At dusk, above a Pacific reef slope, a striped shell rises from cold darkness. Inside, a nautilus grips its chambered home and searches the current for food. Its silhouette seems ancient, inviting the claim that it survived unchanged for millions of years. The real mystery is subtler. Which traits preserved this lineage through enormous environmental change? Living nautiluses are modern species, not individual fossils carried intact from vanished seas. Their ancestors belong to a cephalopod history extending hundreds of millions of years. Yet longevity does not mean evolutionary stillness, because lineages branch, disappear, and acquire new features. The coiled shell records growth while regulating buoyancy across steep daily journeys. Many flexible tentacles probe the reef, guided by chemical cues more than sharp vision. Low metabolism and delayed reproduction fit stable, deep habitats, but create dangerous modern vulnerabilities. If you follow the animal upward, survival emerges as a sequence of measured responses. Cool depth provides refuge by day, scent draws movement at night, and the shell controls the climb. Each trait solves one problem while imposing costs that changing oceans can expose. The Nautilus survived not through perfection, but through a durable combination of compromises. Its rising shell, therefore, opens an investigation into buoyancy, behavior, ancestry, and time. Nautiluses are cephalopod mollusks, relatives of octopuses, squid, and cuttlefish. Several living species inhabit deep reef slopes across parts of the tropical Indo-Pacific. Nautilus pompilius is the best-known species, though populations and species boundaries require careful study. Unlike shellless octopuses, a nautilus retains an external shell divided into internal chambers. The animal occupies the newest and largest chamber, called the body chamber. Older chambers connect through a slender tissue tube known as the siphuncle. By moving ions and water across chamber tissues, the animal adjusts liquid within the shell. Gas enters emptied space largely through physical processes, producing near-neutral buoyancy over time. The Nautilus cannot inflate chambers instantly, like a mechanical submarine changing ballast. Fine buoyancy adjustment is slow, while jet propulsion and tentacle movement control immediate motion. When deeper pressure increases, the shell resists, crushing only within a limited depth range. That boundary confines the animal to slopes where refuge and survivable pressure overlap. Large eyes detect light, but lack the focusing lens found in many other cephalopods. Their pinhole design forms dim images suitable for recognizing brightness, shapes, and movement. Chemical sensing is especially important when darkness hides carrion, crustaceans, or molted remains. When an odor plume arrives, tentacles orient. The hood protects the head, and the animal follows upstream. Numerous retractile appendages grip food without the suction cups used by octopuses and squid. A hard beak cuts material, while the radula and digestive system process the meal. During daylight, many nautiluses remain deeper, where cooler water reduces metabolism and predator exposure. As darkness falls, some populations move shallower along reef contours to forage. This Q-action pattern links fading light to ascent, feeding opportunity, and later retreat. Movement varies among locations. So one population's schedule should not define every nautilus. Verified behavior reveals flexibility within limits, rather than an automatic ritual unchanged since prehistory. Fossils document abundant externally shelled cephalopods in ancient oceans, including many extinct groups. Modern nautiluses represent one surviving branch, not a complete sample of those former diversities. Shell resemblance across time can conceal changes in anatomy, ecology, and genetic history. Calling them living fossils usefully signals deep ancestry, but misleadingly suggests evolution stopped. Mainstream interpretation holds that stable deep-slope habitats buffered some environmental disruptions. Their broad scavenging diet may reduce dependence on one prey species. When scarce food releases chemical traces, sensitive organs guide slow travel toward an unpredictable reward. Efficient movement then limits energy cost, allowing persistence where meals arrive irregularly. The chambered shell provides protection and buoyancy, yet also slows rapid escape. When threatened, a nautilus withdraws behind its tough hood instead of relying on speed. Retreat protects soft tissues, but a determined predator can still damage or penetrate the shell. Shell scars on living animals document attacks and survival, not invulnerability. Reproduction adds another conservative strategy, with relatively large eggs and slow development. Nautiluses mature much later than many short-lived squid, and adults can live for years. These traits suit long-lived animals in comparatively stable settings with intermittent resources. They also make populations slow to recover when adults are removed faster than reproduction replaces them. Evidence for ancient survival comes from fossil analysis, genetic sampling, field tagging, and baited camera observation. Fossils show shell form and distribution, but rarely preserve behavior or soft anatomy. Genetic comparisons reconstruct relationships, yet estimated divergence times carry assumptions and uncertainty. Field tagging records movement, although rugged slopes and deep water limit recoveries. Together, these methods test explanations without turning persistence into a single miraculous adaptation. The shell's geometry offers one hypothesis for endurance, but shells alone did not save many extinct relatives. Deep habitat offers another, though oceanic oxygen, temperature, and chemistry have repeatedly shifted. Generalist feeding helps, but scavengers still depend on productive ecosystems above and around them. Slow living reduces energy demand, while slow reproduction magnifies losses from sudden harvest. Survival, therefore, arises from interacting traits under particular conditions, not one timeless secret. Unknowns remain about population connections across deep channels separating islands and reefs. Some nautiluses may cross limited distances, while broad open water can isolate groups genetically. If you see identical striped shells, their hidden populations may still have distinct histories. Isolation can promote diversification, yet it also leaves small populations exposed to local decline. Modern human demand for decorative shells exploits precisely the structure that once provided protection. Fishers can bait traps along reef slopes, using scavenging responses to concentrate otherwise dispersed animals. Odor becomes the cue, approach becomes the action, and capture becomes the unintended consequence. Because maturity is delayed, repeated removal can outpace replacement before decline becomes visually obvious. International trade controls and national protections can reduce pressure when monitoring and enforcement function. Habitat protection also matters because nautiluses require connected depth zones across daily movements. Warming seas may compress suitable habitat if hot surface water and low deep oxygen converge. The exact response will differ by region, depth, and local oceanography. Researchers should avoid projecting one measured tolerance onto every species or isolated population. Nautiluses also illuminate how evolution preserves workable designs while continually modifying living systems. Their shell is not a museum case. It grows, repairs damage, and responds to physiology. Their nervous system differs from more behaviorally flexible coilioids, yet supports learning and sensory decisions. Observed conditioning indicates learning, although broader claims about cognition require carefully matched interpretations. When a familiar cue predicts food, behavior can change, showing adaptability within an ancient body plan. For people, the Nautilus joins deep time to choices unfolding within a few generations. An evolutionary lineage can endure mass extinctions, yet remain vulnerable to focused, efficient collection. Longevity in geological history offers no guarantee against rapid modern population loss. Future evidence must map populations, reproduction, movement, and environmental tolerances across the full range. Long-term baited camera surveys could reveal trends, while accounting for attraction distance and changing currents. Genomic sampling could test isolation without assuming every shell pattern marks a separate species. Tagging across depth could show how temperature and oxygen boundaries shape nightly migrations. Baited camera records of size classes could refine recovery estimates where harvest has reduced adults. If you return at dusk, the ascent now appears less like a ghostly replay. It is an active calculation, constrained by pressure, temperature, hunger, predators, and shell mechanics. Fading light reduces risk, chemical trails promise food, and neutral buoyancy makes searching affordable. Before dawn, deeper cool water again offers shelter, completing a cycle repeated across generations. Future oceans may shift every boundary that makes this cycle possible. Some populations may adjust their routes, while isolated groups may have nowhere suitable to move. Evidence must separate short-term behavioral flexibility from genuine long-term adaptation. The ancient-looking shell can reveal growth and injury, but not a guaranteed future. Nautilus survival reflects persistence through past filters, not immunity from the next one. Millions of years endured because a changing lineage repeatedly found habitats where its compromises still worked.